Yep.
Hey, let's put all cell phones down. I see one. Put it down. Okay. Hey, we got a short presentation here for you today. We've got a couple different organizations that are going to talk to you: the Kosciuszko Community Foundation, the Fulton County Community Foundation, and then also InvestEd is going to talk to you about some financial aid opportunities that are available to you all. Okay, Becky. Okay. All right, so now just a disclaimer, we're recording this. You see name in the back, so make sure on best behavior because your parents will hopefully see this. If you do want to stand up and wave hi, Mom, save it till the end, okay? All right.
All quiz-bowl students, please report to Mrs. Rodenstrom. Quiz-bowl to Mrs. Rodenstrom.
All right, I think we're going to start off with the Fulton County Community Foundation, correct? Go ahead and give your undivided attention to these organizations, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Allison Heidi. I'm with the Fulton County Community Foundation. Our foundation is under the umbrella of the Northern Indiana Community Foundation, and we have Miami, Stark, and Fulton County. So that's the counties that I'm responsible for. We have an online scholarship platform. It's very easy to use. We gave out over $178,000 to Fulton County students last year. That's 67 different funds. So there are that many opportunities for you to be able to take advantage of in Fulton County if you're a Fulton County student. Our application is online, like I said, on our website. So you go to nicf.org at the top, click on Fulton County, then click on scholarships. And then it'll, if you kind of work your way down a little bit, it talks about the scholarships and criteria, facts, and apply now. So I'm not going to dive deep into everything, but the 2020 Fulton County scholarships and criteria does list every fund that we have available. The criteria, sometimes it's that you're going into agriculture or nursing, sometimes they are need-based. Sometimes it depends on what school you're going to. There are a couple from Purdue University. So you can look at that, but you don't have to understand that or know that, because once you put all your information into our system, it will automatically match you to whichever ones that you qualify for. So while that's there for you, if you want to take a peek at it, it's nothing you need to know that, oh, I'm going to apply for this one, and this one. It will do it automatically for you. So if you could hit apply now, I just want to show you what our platform looks like. This page is going to come up where you'll have to put in an ID and a password. And if you would, So if you had started it and then wanted to go back in, you don't have to finish it all at once. You would just say continue with the application. So when you first start this application, you'll have to have an email. I would really suggest you not use your high school email. Use a Gmail, Yahoo, whatever else you have. And the reason that we're asking you to do this is because, let's say you graduate next year, there are still some scholarships that you might be able to apply for. Well, that email usually, they discontinue that at the summertime next year. So in order for us to get a hold of you, we would like to be able to reach you through an active and current email address. So we suggest using Gmail or something else like that. So here's what it looks like. You just go into each one of these tabs and fill the information in. It'll talk about 4-H if you've been involved in 4-H, your school activities. It'll let you put in the 10 most important to you school activities. If you've had work experience, it doesn't have to be paid work experience. It can be unpaid work experience. You'll put in your estimated expenses and resources. any financial information. If you're gonna fill out the FAFSA and the EFC contribution, that's what we are looking for. We'll ask you to upload the page with just the EFC. You don't have to upload the 20 pages that come with that. If you choose not to upload your FAFSA, that's fine. You just won't qualify for any of our need-based scholarships. You'll have to complete a couple essays. Then you can put in some community, volunteer, and church activities. And if you could just scroll down one more time, please. A signature page and our request page. The request page is where you ask for letters of recommendation. If you want to click that one, this is one that I don't know why people miss this one, but they do. All you have to do is, what you want to do is ask a neighbor or ask a teacher or ask the principal, would you be willing to write a letter of recommendation for me? And then what you'll do is go in toward the bottom, and I've already completed this, but if you need the academic certification from your counselor, you would put her email address in, and it would send it to her, and it automatically happens through the system. It comes back to us automatically. Once you ask for it, you're pretty much done with it. Same with any of these other letters of recommendation. This is where you ask them to do it through the system, after you have their approval that they're willing to do it for you. Because if you wait to the last minute, they don't have enough time to do it, and you may be disqualified from some applications because you didn't get letters of recommendation or your academic certification form. Our applications are actually due a little earlier this year. They are due on, I want to say, February 3rd. Still plenty of time. Ours are actually open right now, and you can get in the system and start working on them. So you've got December, January, and part of February to complete that. So are there any questions about our scholarship process? I'll stay a little bit afterward if you've got any questions. You can find my email and phone number throughout the system. If you want to call me later or if something comes up when you're actually into it or having any problems, just let us know. Okay, good luck. There's a lot of money. Our Fort County is very generous, so please take advantage of these scholarships.
Good. Okay, we got work to do. Get busy. All right,
Hi, I'm Amy Cannon. I'm the program director at the Kosciuszko County Community Foundation. So I oversee our scholarship process there. Our process is very similar to Fulton County's, and I'm going to go over a few things for you today. The Kosciuszko County Community Foundation has over 95 different scholarship funds that are available to students that are pursuing additional education. So you don't have to be going for a 4-year degree next year. You could be going for a certificate or a license in a skilled trade. You could be going for your associate's degree. Whatever your plans are education-wise for next year, we have scholarships available to you. Annually, we award between $300,000 and $500,000 in scholarships to local students. Last year, we had 305 applicants that generated over 4,000 applications to those 95 different scholarship funds. And we awarded 424 scholarships for a total of $550,000. So we definitely have scholarships out there available for you. Please apply, check them out. Our application process is similar in the fact that you only have to fill out one application, and it's going to match you up to the scholarship funds that you're eligible for. You do not have to be a Kosciuszko County resident to apply for our scholarships. In fact, we have some scholarship funds that are designated specifically for Tippy Valley students. We also have some scholarship funds that are designated for students that attended a high school serving Kosciuszko County. So Tippy Valley, since you're a student here, you would be eligible to receive those scholarship awards. So definitely check it out, at least find out which scholarship funds you're matched to. Like Fulton County, we also have a list of our scholarship funds up on our website if you do want to check that out ahead of time and see what you might be eligible for. We define scholarships as free money that you don't have to give back to us. It can be used for tuition, books, and academic fees. It cannot be used for room and board, so know that going into it. So who can apply for our scholarships? Our scholarships are eligible for current high high school seniors, and then current college students. So every year that you remain enrolled in school, you will be eligible to reapply for our scholarships fund. So as Allison said, when you are setting up your account to apply for our scholarships, please use a personal email address, not your school email address, so that we can send you reminders next year to apply again for scholarship funds. So our application portal, we actually use the same platform that Fulton County uses, so it's going to look very similar. Our application does not open until December 15th. So this Sunday, you'll be able to start applying for our scholarship funds. And then our deadline is March 15th at 4:30 p.m. We set that time deadline because that's the time that our office closes, and we will no longer be there to answer phone calls from you. It will kick you out at 4:30 p.m., so please be aware of that deadline. So if you want to scroll down just a little bit for me on our website. This is the website that you will go to. I have a handout up here that has the address on it and some additional information that will be helpful to you if you want to grab one on your way out today. There you can see the summary of the scholarship funds if you want to check out the criteria. This just talks about who's eligible to apply, anyone who might be ineligible. We give a little bit of information about for-profit colleges. If you're not sure if you might be looking into a for-profit college, you might want to check out our website here. We have a disclaimer that we may not be able to award you a scholarship if you're attending a for-profit school, so pay attention to that. Determining financial need, we do the same thing as Fulton County. We ask for your student aid report, which is what you get back after you file FAFSA, and we'll use that to help determine your financial need. And then at the bottom of the page, we have the Apply for Scholarship button, and that's how you'll get to our application portal on December 15th. So a few things to know going into it, what you need to apply. Your current or most recent transcript. Although our application opens December 15th, we want your transcript that includes fall grades. So wait until next semester to upload your transcript so that we can see your fall grades for your senior year. Your standardized test scores, if those scores are not included on your transcript, we're going to need a separate document to show us what your test scores were. Test scores are not required to apply for our scholarships though, so if you haven't taken SATs or ACTs, that's okay. Birth certificate or proof of legal residency, names and email addresses for at least 2 references. Again, our platform is very similar to what Allison just showed you. You're going to enter the name and email address of your references. They do not write a letter of recommendation. They're going to fill out a form that we ask for specific questions. And when that comes back to us, you will not be able to see what they said. So make sure that you're asking people who are going to speak kindly on your behalf, because they do get asked, do you recommend this applicant for a scholarship? We have had references who have said no. Additionally, I encourage you to speak with your references. Don't just send them an email. We have had references in the past who have declined the recommendation because the student did not come to them and ask their permission before they entered their email address. Your application will not be considered complete until we have received those recommendations. So when you go back to that page that Allison showed, that request section of the application, you can see who has submitted the recommendation and who hasn't. So as it's getting close to the application deadline, I encourage you to go back to that page, and if they have not submitted yet, ask them again to follow up on that. Make sure they know what the deadline is so that your application isn't considered incomplete because they didn't submit their recommendation. We also ask for a photo of yourself from the shoulders up, a record of your work experience, community service, and extracurricular activities. Some helpful hints. Make sure you start early. Don't wait until that last week before the deadline. Again, because we want to give your references enough time to submit their recommendation. Start thinking about who you want to be your reference now. It may not be the same people that you asked for your college applications. We do have scholarship funds that require it be from a specific person. So it may say that you need somebody who is your coach, a pastor, or a church youth leader. It may specifically be from a teacher. You may need somebody who service group leader for you for some organization that you're involved in here at school. So pay attention to who you might need to ask those recommendations from. And then I encourage you to check out the resources provided by the Community Foundation. As we go through the process, we will be adding more information to our website. Also, I have noticed that students typically rush through the application. We have provided instructions for a reason, so I encourage you to stop, take a minute to read the instructions to make sure that you're filling out the application correctly, and then also don't hesitate to call us if you have questions regarding your scholarship application. Any questions I can answer right now for you? Okay. Thank you.
Hey, raise your hand for Kosciuszko County. Raise your hand if you're also a Valley student. All you have work to do. All right, so now we got a short presentation. We got a short presentation from Invest Ed. They talk a little bit about financial needs and help students through those types of things. Hey, hi!
Yes, sir.
I didn't know if you guys could hear me. So I'm Alex. I'm from Invest Ed. I have like 10 minutes. Okay? We're gonna whip through this real quick. I actually have a colleague coming back this evening tonight to work with you and your parents on filing the FAFSA. How many of you have actually already done that? Good. How many of you have already applied to a college? How many of you have already been admitted to the college of your choice? Yeah, good job. For those of you who haven't raised your hand, you got a little work to do, but that's okay. Today we're specifically talking about actually funding the education you may be wanting to go off and get. So scholarships from the Community Foundations are awesome, but we also are going to talk about grants and other types of financial aid that's available to you. We'll talk about some terms that colleges are going to begin using kind of with you guys, helping you, well, hopefully, to help you understand what they mean. So a quick little overview of financial aid. The whole purpose of financial aid is to evaluate your family's ability to cover the costs of education, but then it's those people who are trying to help you pay for school, federal government, state of Indiana, the university you're planning on attending, maybe even private businesses and organizations, community foundations. It's those people then looking at your ability to cover the cost and giving out resources they have. They are limited resources, and they are given to students who show the most financial need. That's what you're going to start hearing that term quite a bit, especially as we talk about the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. That whole form, that one application, is trying to gauge your level of financial need so you can be given money by these different places. There are two types of financial aid: gift-based aid and need-based aid. Gift-based aid is the stuff you really want. It's scholarships and grants, money given to you that you do not have to repay. The other half of financial aid is that self-help aid, we call it. That's still how you can pay for school, but it's you working for it a little bit harder, either now in high school, once you get to college, or you may even have to pay some of that money back. So that's why we want to focus on the first half of financial aid, gift aid, rather than just focusing on the second half. And by the way, as we're talking today, if you have questions about this stuff, just ask. It's more important to get through your questions and concerns than for me to click through all of my slides. Does that sound fair? Cool. First we'll talk about grants. Grants, again, free money coming from the federal government and the state of Indiana primarily. The most common federal grant is the federal Pell Grant. For those of you who filed the FAFSA already, you may have seen your Pell Grant eligibility. The nice thing about the Pell Grant is whatever school you decide to attend, if you qualify for up to $6,195 of Pell aid, the federal government sent it to the school on your behalf and you don't have to worry about it. So that's free money to help you pay for school. Some other forms of grants from the federal government are the SEOG, or the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, and the Teach Grant. Does anyone in here want to be a teacher? Cool. Come talk to me afterwards. I actually received the federal Teach Grant, so I can talk to you a little bit about what that means and what qualifies you for that. The other half of grants are state-based grants. State-based grants, the two primary ones, are the 21st Century Scholar Program and the Frank O'Bannon Grant. The 21st Century Scholar Program, if you are a 21st Century Scholar, you hopefully already know that, and you've been working on some of the tasks you need to do on your Scholar Track account. If you have not, please do so. Because the 21st Century Scholar Award covers your full tuition and mandatory fees at any state school here in Indiana, and covers about $9,000 of any private school here in the state of Indiana. So it's a huge chunk of money. The Frank O'Bannon Grant can come in for students who may not be 21st Century Scholars and can help cover the cost of school, similarly to how the Pell Grant works. With this Frank O'Bannon Grant, though, if you decide to go out of state, where the federal government grant, the Pell Grant, can go with you, the Frank O'Bannon Grant, the 21st Century Scholar Grant, cannot. That's state of Indiana specific. Scholarships are the other half of free money for school. We've talked a little bit about these already, but the college and universities are offering grant scholarships. They're either offering need-based or merit-based scholarships. Can someone tell me what a merit-based scholarship is? Give it a shot.
Based on your grades and volunteer work.
That's part of it. A merit-based scholarship is money given to you guys based on the good things you've done already in high school. So grades and community service are a huge part of that. Who can give me another example? Come on, you can do it. Do any of you play sports? Okay. Athletic scholarships. Are any of you in band or choir or the theater program? Okay. All of those are areas too where colleges can give you money to help you pay for the cost of school. There's also need-based aid. Need-based scholarships from the college work very similarly to the grants from the federal government and state of Indiana. It's money given to you to help pay for school that you don't have to pay back, and is given to you because you've shown you need help paying for school. The local and community scholarships are really important to you guys because, correct me if I'm wrong, you have less than 125 kids in your graduating class, right? So let's say, for example, that there are scholarships, I don't know, maybe that we literally just heard about, that are offered to only students here at Tippy Valley. What percentage of the students do you think in your graduating class are actually going to apply for those scholarships?
A handful.
A handful, wow, that's the answer I was looking for. Yeah, a handful. If you are one of the ones that actually applies for it, you're increasing your likelihood of actually winning that scholarship and being able to take it with you to go off to college. So that's more money you don't have to pay out of your pocket. Please actually focus on these local and community scholarships to help you pay for school. There are also national scholarships. Those are well and good. FastWeb, CapEx, Unigo can be great places to go to find more money for school. However, those are kind of like random drawing scholarships. Sometimes you might find one that requires you to write a short essay, and then you might have a slightly better likelihood of getting those, but those are rarer. I actually found a scholarship on FastWeb that asked students to write a 500-word essay on what flavor of ice cream you would be and why. There was a young lady from Carmel who actually won that a couple years ago. She answered vanilla bean. If you're interested, like, her essay was actually pretty good. But like, every one of you could do that. And many do. There are millions of applications for scholarships like that. So your likelihood of winning one of those diminishes quite a bit. So spend more time focusing on the local and community scholarships rather than the national ones, and sometimes even rather than the college ones. We offer a scholarship to students here in the state of Indiana. If you are older than 16, and if you live in Indiana, you are eligible for our scholarship. Those are the only qualifications. We give out 5 $1,000 scholarships. We don't care where you're going to school. So if you haven't already, this is a great additional local community site to go to. in order to find a scholarship for college. The link to that is actually in the booklet that you'll pick up as you head out of here today. The next thing I want to talk about is self-help aid. Self-help aid starts with student employment. How many of you have part-time jobs now? Great. Of those who have part-time jobs, are any of you actually saving money for college? Okay, like 4 of you. That's good. Those others of you, step up your game a little bit. You can actually work while you're in college to earn money for school. My job in college that actually paid for my classes was to sit at the front desk of my residence hall and like sell a can of soda and a candy bar every once in a while. It was my job to sit there and talk to the people that I lived with. It was probably the best job I've ever had. But it helped me pay for school. There's a program called Federal Work Study. For those of you who have already filed the FAFSA, you may be familiar with that term because that was a question on your FAFSA. It says, are you interested in being considered for federal work study? This is money the federal government and the college actually put in a fund to help pay your paycheck while you're working. So it's another way the college and the federal government can help pay for some of your education that you're not paying out of your own pocket. The next part I want to talk about are other things to consider as college savings. Do we offer AP and dual credit classes here? Great. You guys take those? Yep. Good. Those are college credits you don't have to take when you get to college. My word of advice for you when it comes to AP and dual credit classes, have a list of the universities they're through, the course descriptions, so WRI 131, and then your grade in the class, or if it's an AP test, your grade on the AP test. Then go talk to the colleges specifically about how they accept those tests and those classes. Because the English AP exam that you may have taken, that may qualify you for 3 credits in college, or the college may say, well, actually, the AP exam doesn't really cover this part of our class, so we'll count the AP test as an elective rather than an actual equivalent for the class, and you'll have to retake English. So you want to do your best to figure out how those credits you've already earned actually can help you through this college process. Something else to consider, not as popular with your parents or with you guys. Commuting versus living on campus. Do you guys know how much it costs to live on campus for 1 year at the average state school right now?
Like $3 grand.
A little more than 3 grand. You said 10. Good job. It's actually about 10 to 12 grand just to live and eat on campus for a year. So I'm not. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me like 4 to 5 more minutes and I'll get you out of here. Okay? I'm so sorry. I'm hoping you missed class. I apologize. Okay?
Oh well.
Are you guys missing class with us?
Oh yeah, you can keep going.
Okay, I'll keep going.
Take as long as you want.
Consider doing this. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but it can be an option for you to help reduce the cost of your education because you're not paying for that 10 to 12 grand for your costs for room and board. I want to talk about loans as well. Loans are going to be slapped in your face from the day you finish the FAFSA. For those of you who have already finished, did you see that you qualified for a $5,500 loan from the federal government? Did you know the interest rate on that's actually at like 4.5%? And do you know that a fee is taken off the top of that, and you may have to start repaying that back? Or you may have to start paying interest on it? Yeah, that's how loans work. You borrow the money, you have to pay interest, and then you have to pay it back eventually. That's the big piece of advice I want to talk to you when it comes to loans. Everything else we've talked about so far today, from the Community Foundation scholarships to grants, other scholarships, working while you're on campus, AP dual credit courses, even commuting instead of living on campus. All of that you're either earning for free or you're working to pay off. These you have to pay back. And that's kind of a big deal. Right now in Indiana, the average student graduates college with about $30,000 in student loan debt, which is about a $400 student loan payment the day you graduate college. I want you to be avoiding that. I'm hoping that you don't have that coming out of school. Last couple things I want to talk about really quickly are a couple terms. We already discussed what FAFSA is, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, but we've also mentioned EFC a couple times. Your EFC is your expected family contribution. That is your level of financial need. That's an actual number the colleges, the state of Indiana, and the federal government, and even community foundations can look at to see if you are or are not eligible for need-based aid for school. The FAFSA opened October 1st and closes April 15th. I know that seems like a really long ways away. It's going to come up very quickly. Tonight, like I mentioned earlier, from 4 to 6, one of my colleagues, her name is Rachel, she will be here to help you file a FAFSA if you need help. If you aren't able to attend that event, inside that booklet is our phone number, and I'll give you mine here in a little bit. Feel free to call me, text me if you guys have any questions or concerns. Skip over this part really quickly. And I'm going to show you this. This is where the college may send you after you've been officially admitted to their university, after you have sent your FAFSA over to them. This is a little cost breakdown for their school. We've obviously invested in Sample University is not real, but we took all these numbers from a very popular college here in the state of Indiana. It will show you tuition, room and board, fees. Then it shows you what you may qualify for in free money and what's left over that you guys have to pay. As you are getting these, please make sure you're reading through them. Make sure you understand what is free and what may not be free. What you have to pay back and what you may not have to. Okay? This is our team right here. So look at that here. That's me. This is Miss Rachel. She's the one who will be here this evening. If you have questions or concerns, again, please let us know. And then that's also social media or whatever. That's my information. So that's my email. That is my phone number. Feel free to give me a call, zip me a text, send me an email if you or your family have questions regarding actually paying for school. Do you guys have any questions that I can address now before I kick you out of here? I'm going to awkwardly wait a couple minutes and look around the room just to make sure that you actually have questions. I see the majority of you avoiding my eyes, and that's perfectly okay. Alright, I see you guys too. 3 final things. 1, pick up a booklet and one of those pieces of paper on the way out. They're very important. Second thing, there is it, guys. I have like 2 things left. Second thing, there is a sign up sheet. If you want us to send you like an email about, hey, here's some good tips and techniques when it comes to planning for school, we'd be happy to do that. Completely free. The third thing, we like taking pictures and putting them on Instagram to prove that we actually came here. How do you guys feel about being my Instagram models for the afternoon?
All right.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. This is all I need. I need you to smile and pretend like you guys had a really good time. Okay?
We did. You kept us out of class.